Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Fly Season 8 as well as Supergirl Season 6. Now, I am going to put timestamps in the description down below for this video because I'll be splitting this video into two sections. The first portion will be me breaking down and going over some new promo images which has been released for The Fly Season 8 Episode 1 titled Armageddon Part 1. And then the second portion of this video will be my review for the series finale of Supergirl. So that being Season 6 Episode 19 titled The Last Gauntlet, and then Season 6 Episode 20, which is the series finale titled Kara, and that's the final episode we're getting of Supergirl ever, which is pretty sad to see. But yeah, I'll give you guys my overall thoughts on that episode. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Okay, so firstly, I'll just get straight into the promo images and then I'll do the Supergirl review later on. So firstly, we have this shot of Chester, vlogging his day in the Central City Technology Convention. And obviously, we do see Barry, waving to the vlog. He's saying, hi or something like that. It'll be interesting to see what exactly they're doing over here. It could be that Team Flash are just in this convention showcasing all this Star Labs tech inside a tech convention. This could actually be the case because when we head over to this shot over here where we have Barry interacting with Ray Palmer, behind Ray, we do actually see that Star Labs display, and then we do also see that Star Labs has its own display as well, where we have this tech behind Ray, and obviously one of the helmets is the one which they used for Ralph Dibny in Season 7 Episode 3. I have no idea what the other one's used for, but it's Star Labs tech as well. And it seems like Team Flash will just be showcasing all this tech they have. Iris will just be, going around and she'll be recording things for her article or something like that, because we do see Iris in promo images as well. We then cut to this shot of Barry meeting up with Ray Palmer inside the convention. Now, obviously, Ray Palmer is also a techie guy, so it seems like he's just coincidentally there due to there being a tech event in Central City, so it's not like Barry recruited him or anything like that. Ray Palmer is already there due to his obsession and his passion for technology. Barry obviously is the current owner of Star Labs, which is why he's in that convention, and it will just be Chester who will probably explain what all of this tech does. But I can't wait to see these two characters on the screen again. Obviously, both of them are really funny characters, Barry and Ray. It'll just be cool to see them reuniting on a scene once again. We do then get this really clean shot of Ray Palmer's suit, that being the Atom suit, and he is in this tech convention. Obviously, we do know that the first guest star for Armageddon is the Atom, and it's very exciting. We do know that Ray Palmer is suited up inside because he does actually help Barry fight Despero in this episode. And in this shot over here, we do actually see this other angle, but this time we have the Flash suited up in this convention with Ray. Now, next up, we do actually see this really clean shot of Barry being thrown into a taxi, causing a dent. And over here, we do actually get this wider angle of the same shot, where Barry is tossed at a taxi. But over here is actually Barry staring up at Despero. The reason why he's looking up is because this will be Despero's CGI form, not that human form. So it will be like a huger version of Despero, and obviously a much taller one. This is kind of worrying at the same time because it is daytime, and as we know for the Flash, daytime CGI never looks good. So I am really worried in regards to how they'll make it look, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. We do obviously then get the Atom assisting the Flash to fight Despero, and over here we do know that they'll be teaming up together, and this will be the very first fight the Flash has with Despero. And then we do then get this different shots with Iris, where it seems like she's just doing some reporting around the convention center. She's probably just blogging all of this new tech which is around the convention center. That's what I'm guessing is going on over here. But then we do obviously see Chester and Iris outside the convention center, in which it looks like they have evacuated the building due to Despero's invasion. But the promo images wrap up with these shots in the cortex where we have Chester sitting on a monitor, presumably after the whole event of the convention where Despero invades, and obviously the Flash gets tossed at the taxi, and then we have the Flash and Ray Palmer teaming up together fighting Despero. We'd also get the shot of Barry, Caitlin, and Cecile staring at one of the monitors in Star Labs, maybe because Chester shows them footage about what actually went down in the convention with Despero's invasion, and maybe if he stole something, what Despero stole. Ray Palmer is also in the cortex, as we do see this shot over here, So, yeah, it does look like Team Flash are discussing what happened in the convention and how they're going to stop their new upcoming threat. We do also see that the Star Labs table has been painted as blue. No idea why, it does look pretty weird, but oh well, I guess there's nothing we can do about it. But moving on to my review for the Supergirl Season 6 finale. So, episode 19 titled The Last Gauntlet, and then episode 20 titled Kara. And may I remind you guys again, this is the final episode of Supergirl ever, and obviously, spoiler alert in case you haven't seen the episode, you have been warned. Now, Supergirl for me is a very special show because unlike The Flash and Arrow, Supergirl was the first show which I have watched since day one, way before it was even part of the Arrowverse. And obviously, I grew up to become a fan of the show. I loved the cast, and I really loved some of the storylines they told throughout the season, or throughout the show, might I say. Now, season 6 overall was very hard to get through. I think the last episode I got to was around like Kelly becoming Guardian or something like that. And then I just stopped watching the show. I really wasn't liking the direction this final season was going. I really didn't like how this is a show about Supergirl. It is the final season, but it's not related to or just centered around Kara in any way, shape, or form. I just found that really frustrating. And from what I heard, the episodes only got worse and worse, so I just stopped watching. But I always was going to watch the finale, regardless of what I thought about the season. I was always going to watch the finale, and since this is a 2 hour finale, episode 19 and episode 20, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch both. So yeah, I skipped through like what 4 or 5 episodes, and I just went straight into episode 19. I watched the recap in the episode where it goes previously on Supergirl, and honestly, after watching episode 19 and 20, I felt like I missed absolutely nothing. After watching the recap and then after watching episode 19 and 20, I felt like I missed nothing. So, episode 19 for me was not very good. I really wasn't a fan of that episode at all. It felt like, Kara has literally been sidelined from the show. She was only around for like, what, 2 to 3 scenes, which was quite annoying. Lex Luthor's story arc for this whole season was pretty messy, and I really didn't like what they did with him. Like, there is no way an evil, egotistical maniac like Lex Luthor would ever fall in love with someone and not stab them in the back. Like, at first, I would have went like, okay, Lex Luthor has a plan. He's going to stab Nixley in the back. What are we going to do? But no, he's genuinely in love with Nixley, and I just wasn't convinced because that is so out of character for Lex Luthor. It really doesn't make any sense. Another issue I had with that episode was the amount of pep talks. There were like what, 3 or 4 pep talks, maybe even more, and most of them were quite unnecessary. It was just there to show a vulnerability of a character. I did also notice that Alex was a bit out of character in this episode as well, like her just going at Kara, and then they had that argument near like what, I can't remember what it was, but like it was like a cathedral or something like that. I really wasn't a fan of that. I did also have an issue with that whole sunny plan where Kara absorbs like the sun's radiation, and it had something to do with like a satellite or something along those lines. That would cause a massive toll on the whole world where the sun would just be out full of energy for a couple of months, which sounds really ridiculous, and the environmental impact would have been awful. So, as a superhero, trying to push that plan was not something I was a fan of. The black and white characters was also something I really did not like, and once again, using corny and cheesy stuff like the power of love, using the power of love to prevail against the totems, it was just cheesy, and I wasn't too much of a fan of it. But yeah, I really wasn't a fan of episode 19. That being said, however, episode 20, aka the final episode of the whole show, titled Kara, was honestly beautiful. It was very wholesome and quite emotional to say the least because we knew that the show was coming to an end 45 minutes after this episode. I really, really enjoyed this episode. I really liked it. They nailed the tone really well. The character moments and their interactions, it was absolutely phenomenal. Supergirl absolutely nailed it this episode. And, the character interactions with last episode as well, episode 19, was quite good as well. So Supergirl is a show which really is able to go into these, character scenes and have these great character interactions between them. The cast is just so great, and when I actually see them, I genuinely feel like they're a family. I am actually that convinced. So that was a plus. We did also have some really satisfying wrap ups for most of the characters. I really liked the whole journey where Kara is trying to embrace that identity reveal. Like, we've seen her struggle with that for so many years, and we've seen that struggle for this episode as well. And her finally embracing that towards the end, and her revealing that she is Supergirl, it was something I really liked, although it does come with issues. You guys know I hate it when shows reveal superheroes' identities. Like, I got really, really angry when Oliver Queen revealed his identity during Arrow season 6. But for Supergirl, it was quite fitting. It was quite sad in a good way as well. I don't really know how that worked, but it was quite sad. But it was a good thing for Kara because she was finally able to, like, embrace that struggle, and she was finally able to let the world know that she was Supergirl. But then it was a sad moment for us because it was literally the final scene of the whole show. I really liked that development throughout this episode, it was written so well, where we had Lena and Cat Grant, pushing Kara to embrace that identity reveal. I really liked that. The returning characters was great as well. Seeing these past villains through the past seasons was really cool. Like, we got to see villains like Overgirl from Crisis on Earth X. We got to see Red Tornado, Metallo, Parasite. It was just really great, and obviously seeing the Super Friends face off those villains was something I really enjoyed. Seeing the Legion of Superheroes come back was something I really, really loved as well. Like, seeing Mon-El come back, seeing Win returning, I really enjoyed that. And obviously seeing James Olsen come back as Guardian was just phenomenal. I really, really liked it. For me at least, I loved Cat Grant's return the most because she was one of my favorite characters in the earlier seasons, and she just steals the show. And I really liked the role she played in this episode, with her, having those really funny moments, but then her main role being the main catalyst into Kara revealing her identity. She did also do things like offer Kara a new job at Catco as like a chief editor, but those stuff were really, really great. I was really a huge fan of all these returning characters coming back for this massive fight. Some of the fight scenes we had between characters was very well done, such as Supergirl versus Overgirl, and us getting Mon-El saving Kara. All of that stuff was really great. With the whole wedding sequence between Alex and Kelly was very well done. I really loved the scenes between the other characters as well during the wedding, where we had Jimmy Olsen giving Esme the camera, which was a deleted scene in the live version of the episode, but I got a chance to see the non-cut version of the episode. So yeah, I did really like the Jimmy Olsen scene where he gives Esme the camera. And also seeing Melissa and Jeremy singing together was great. I really liked that. But for me at least, the most touching of all was the scene with Team OG Supergirl, where we had Win, Kara, and James just reminiscing of the past and how they had to like hide in this secret area and Catco when they first figured out about the multiverse. Those types of stuff were things I really, really liked, and it was really sad to see. The scenes with Nia, Nell, and Brainy were pretty emotional as well. It was kind of messy with the fact where we had Brainy telling Nia that he's going to go to the future, and we actually see him going to the future. And then in the wedding, he comes back and he backtracks on what he said to Nia, where he says, "Okay, I'm just gonna live with you," and like, he's not gonna go to the future and deal with that threat. That was kind of weird to me, but I am also happy that Brainy and Nia got their happy ending as well. Now, the overall family dynamic and those hopeful tones in episode 20 were really great in this episode. I really, really liked it. Now, next up, I will go over the things that I didn't like about the episode. So I was kind of disappointed with some of the stuff, such as the way they ended Kara off. Because, let's be honest, we all thought that she was either going to go to Argo City or go to the future with Mon-El. We all thought that, but that wasn't the case. She is still in present day, and this is going to be very problematic. Now, why is it going to be problematic? And that is because crossovers will be an issue. For example, what's her excuse for not showing up for the Fly Season 8 crossover right now? Why is she not in Armageddon if she is still there in present day in National City when she's literally like right next to Central City? What is her excuse for not showing up on Armageddon? Not just Armageddon, but any upcoming crossover as the case may be. Like, if we get a crossover next year, What's Kara's excuse for not showing up for that? Because she's in National City, she is still there in present day. So why can't she end up coming to the next crossover? As I said, she's in National City, she didn't go anywhere, she did not die, she's still living in her house. So why can't she come to the next crossover if National City is right next to Central City? You know, this ending caused a lot of issues. Although it was a great ending and I did like it, it does cause issues because now they're gonna have to find like really, really valid excuses for Kara not showing up in the next crossover or for the Fly Season 8 crossover as well. So it would have been more fitting if they found a way to eliminate her from the problems like this. So like if she went to Argo, for example, that would have been like a perfect way to cancel her out of the equation so that she doesn't end up going to the Fly Season 8 crossover or the upcoming crossover. Or if she went to the future with Monel, again, same. She would be in the future, therefore she would not be available to go to this crossover. Now that she's still in present day, that's going to cause a lot of issues, and I am very interested to see how the other shows will be able to handle that. Now, seeing the whole Phantom stuff in that portion of the episode was pretty bad as well, where we had Lex saying something like, oh, the portal will never close, the Phantoms are here now, and 2 seconds later they take Lex and Nixley, and then the portal just closes. It did also have a very anticlimactic ending with that final battle, so that was also something I wasn't a fan of the episode, but overall for episode 20, I really, really loved that episode. As I said, the whole family dynamic, the whole character interactions, all of these returning characters, that ending scene with Kara's identity reveal. Yes, it does cause problems, but it was still a great scene. I really loved those stuff. Episode 19 was not very good, but episode 20 was certainly the pass, and I will give episode 20 an 8 out of 10. But for episode 19, I'm leaning along 4 or a 5 out of 10 at most. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below what you guys thought about the episode. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.